Welcome back to Capitol Report. I'm Matt Swenson. This is State Representative Roger Reinert. Welcome back, Roger.
Thanks, Matt.
A lot of stuff to talk about here. I know that you are working on an enhanced driver's license bill that's moving its way through the legislative process.
Yeah, you know, as we try to figure out the last piece of the budget and kind of are in a holding pattern with Washington on some of the financial figures, some really important policy things are moving forward. And one of them that I've been working on is called the enhanced driver's license. And this is a bill that's also being carried in the Senate by Senator Saxhog from the Grand Rapids area. It's actually passed the Senate already, waiting for floor action in the House. And what the bill would do is allow you to, the next time you renew your driver's license, if you're interested in having your driver's license basically substitute for a passport or a passport card, you can do that. So it requires a little bit more, there's more information that needs to be provided. You need to verify that you're a citizen and some other things in order to do that. And then your driver's license basically functions for certain countries, Canada, Mexico, places in the Western Hemisphere that you can get to either by car or by boat. Your driver's license will also function as a form of citizenship ID. So, you know, is this terribly important for all of Minnesotans? No. It will be completely voluntary, and, you know, probably most Minnesotans don't cross the border enough that it will be worth the while. It will also be an additional fee of $15 or $20, and, you know, not everybody's going to want to pay for that. You know, I myself probably won't end up getting one. I don't, you know, I go up to the Boundary Waters and maybe go to Thunder Bay once a year, and that's not often. But when we think about, you know, Duluth as a regional center serving all of northeastern Minnesota, when we think about our neighbors just to the north of us in places like I Falls who cross the border multiple times a day, people who are carrying goods and products up the North Shore into Thunder Bay, crossing the border several times a day. This really is an effort that's all about tourism, it's all about commerce, it's all about goods and services moving across the border easily like they've done for decade after decade after generation. So it's made its way through a lot of committees here in the House and awaits floor action, I hope, next week.
Well, I know another piece of legislation you're working on would impact legislators like yourself directly. There are several active military service members serving here in the legislature. You are one of those legislators. And there's been a question, you know, what happens if you're called to active duty? And so you've been working on a solution for this problem, and it's moving its way through the legislative process.
Right. So, you know, and a question people often ask on this is, what's different now than what we've always done? And of course, the reality is that if you're a Guard or Reserve member serving in today's military, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, in terms of being mobilized and deployed overseas. I mean, that's just the way that forces are being used today. And that's very different from the way that forces have been used in the past. It was always primarily active duty, not Guard and Reserve members. So, you know, as I pondered for myself as a Navy reservist, what would happen to the voice of the Duluthians that I represent in the legislature if I were to be called to active duty. And I did a little homework, and the answer is nothing. I mean, your seat on the House floor would literally sit empty. So whether it's me, whether it's Representative Lesh, who's a new Guard member, Representative Bob Detmer, whom I actually serve with, we're in the same unit, there are half a dozen members in the House that this could be an issue for. I also really believe that it's going to be a growing trend. The same people are motivated to serve in public service that are often motivated to serve in a voluntary military. So with that use of Guard and Reserve forces, I think it's going to be an increasing occurrence that we'll see legislators who also are serving in the Guard or Reserve. So what the bill would do is say if you are mobilized to active duty on federal orders, you would submit to the head of your body, either the Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate, 3 names of people that would serve as your substitute until, God willing, you return safely from that service. And then the head of the body would pick from that list of 3 names. So, you know, I envision it, I call it sort of the Mondale model when Senator Wellstone died, you know, as people who have proven their service in their community in the past and might be willing to step in on a short-term basis and just make sure that voice of your constituents is being heard while business is being conducted in St. Paul.
Well, obviously a couple of very important bills, and we hope that you'll come back and update us on what happens next.
Absolutely. Things are moving in a hurry. We're in the home stretch now, so we'll have lots to talk about the next time we get together.
Great. Thank you, Representative,
Absolutely.
and thank you for tuning in at home in Duluth. We'll see you next time.